Hi, I'm Karen Wright, Managing Director of Parachute Executive Coaching, and I'm here today with another one of our short videos introducing some of the amazing parachute coaches to prospective clients. And today we are here with Laura Berman Fortgang. Hi, Laura.
Hello.
Nice to see you.
Same.
You and I have known each other for a little while. You're one of the 62 people who have been in coaching longer than I have. And I know that because my ICF number is 63.
Oh, that's so funny. Oh my gosh. I forget what mine is.
I
60.
know. Yeah, something. And I know that you had a different career prior to coaching. So I wonder if you could tell us kind of where you came from and why coaching.
Absolutely, sure. My parents wouldn't let me be a theater major. I can understand their fears. So I was a communications major at Boston University, but when I graduated, I was like, I didn't want to be 35 and not have gone for my dream. So I moved to New York City, gave myself 5 years to make it on Broadway. At year 8, I was like, uh-oh. I had all my union accreditation. I had advanced. I had good jobs, but I also was a waitress and a darn good one at that. And I thank waitressing for teaching me to be a multitasker. However,
No kidding, right?
I really grew unhappy with the lifestyle, and I thought of an old acting mentor of mine, and he had become a coach, and I'd never heard of such a thing. And he helped me figure out what else I wanted to do with my life. I started doing corporate training and then went, wait a minute, I want to do what you do. So I was student number 16 at Coach U, which is one of two of the first coaching schools ever,
Mhm.
and therefore one of the first 16 people in the ICF, the International Coaching Federation. And I helped start the corporate coaching committee. I helped in ethics standards. One of the first master credential coaches. So it was truly like I could have never predicted this, except that it's everything I've ever wanted. Because in hindsight, what I wanted from being on stage was to cause change and make people think and grow. So here I am.
Oh, no kidding. I had never actually made that connection, but the idea of causing change and making people grow, I get it. I mean, for me, my career was in marketing, and it took me a long time to connect the dots between being fascinated by human behavior and motivation and why do people do what they do. Oh, that's what I do now. But it probably took me 5 years in coaching to figure out, oh, that's what the connection is. So
Yep.
I get it, right?
Yeah, mine was in hindsight recognition too. I was like, what did I really want out of that? It wasn't the applause, and sure, it's fun, but it was like I wanted people to have an experience in the theater that grew them, made them see a possibility, or made them heal their own relationships because something happened on that stage. So I just wanted it to be a vehicle for growth. And wow, I could be on a stage and not go through auditions. That's amazing.
Oh, I can only imagine that's got to be less stressful. So, given that you have had such a contribution to the profession of coaching, and you've taught and you've written books and all of that, but I know you still coach. So, and I know there are a lot of people who have been around this profession as long as you and I have, who have walked away from the one-on-one because they've just sort of found it less interesting or fulfilling. So, help me understand why you continue doing one-on-one coaching in addition to all of the other things that you do.
Oh my goodness, I love that you asked me that. It was a very conscious decision because I certainly had the opportunity to walk away because I traveled the world and I was lecturing and I was teaching and doing other things. But I just felt like that's the core skill set. So how can you train other leaders to be more coach-like, or how can you cause change if you're not in that laboratory of the one-on-one? So whether it's I go up and down as to how many clients I have, but I would never give it up. That's the art, and the science is right there. And I no. I think you absolutely have to be in it to keep teaching about it.
Yes, I totally agree. And in my view, if I separated, because I still do one-on-one coaching myself, and if I stopped doing that, I would lose touch with what's really going on with the people that we are trying to serve. And so I feel like
Yeah,
I have to be in it with everybody.
yeah, it certainly is the front lines of understanding what's happening in organizations, and what are the challenges, and what has the economy done to you this time, and
Right.
yeah, how the pandemic work. Absolutely, it's the front line view.
Yeah, so much. So what do clients say about you as a coach? What's your unique brand or approach, or what do you hear from clients about who you are as a coach?
Um, I the Velvet Hammer, because I'm not the warm and fuzzy. I'm the ask the tough questions or point out something type. And it's funny. I look if someone says I hate you for asking that, I'm very happy with myself. And probably the less severe is if someone says I never would have thought of that, or I never looked at it that way. So I just feel like observation and seeing patterns in chaos
Mm,
is, what floats to the top, and how it's received is shortening the learning curve and discernment, for people that they didn't see it. And so it's pointed out and they can grow from there. So, I mean, people actually say that, it's just like, I would have never done this if you hadn't seen that or if you hadn't said that. And, you know, it's hard to compare. Like if all coaches were cars, what's a BMW of coaching, and um, you know, what's a Subaru of coaching, I don't know. But I think that speed, not for the sake of speed, but speed and results in less time is what I'm known for.
got it. Yeah, shortening the learning curve. I think that's such tremendous value, particularly when you think about those circumstances where we're brought in to help someone accelerate into the next role. Get there more quickly than they might have gotten on their own, because everybody will get there in time just through the experience of being enrolled. But when there's a need for someone to actually get wherever it is faster, then yeah, the coach who can help them do that is incredibly valuable. And we can measure that business value. And that's what I always try to do, is figure out, well, what is the real business value of the fact that a coach was involved. So
Right. So, so someone saying we want to grow their head count and you can do that in XYZ amount of time because they can handle more, that's measurable.
yeah, yeah, for sure. Um, what, other than the fact that we know that you have a background in theater and you're a great waitress, what else would you want people to know about you? Because obviously when people choose a coach, they're not only choosing the background and the experience, but they're choosing the human being. So who are you outside of or beyond being a coach?
I'm a culturally inquisitive person. Like I had the opportunity to grow up in Venezuela from 5 years old to 12 years old, and adapting to culture and language has just been a lens for me. Like I love to be somewhere where I have to learn how to get along, how to communicate. I became an interfaith minister after 9/11 because there was so much misinformation about certain faiths in our world, and I just wanted to go learn about 14 different faiths. And now I can, I get on a plane with my interfaith medallion, and it's always a conversation like, that's mine, what do you know about my faith? So I'm culturally inquisitive, which allows me great adventures and allows me to connect with people across cultures and industries and situations. And I've run for leadership in government, and that was also another exercise in cultural awareness. And so, I mean, I think I'll always be hungry for that. Like if I could have studied languages in school, that was one of my choices. But I didn't want to be a teacher, and I at the time didn't want to work for the UN. Too bad. But it was because it allowed me a front seat again to anything. I studied Chinese in college because I understood Romance languages. Even if I didn't speak Italian, you knew that was Italian, or you heard German on the street. But I could not identify Asian and Pan-Asian languages. So I decided to take Chinese. I was the only non-Chinese student. They were all trying to understand their grandparents. And I was there because I just needed to know.
Oh,
And it was fascinating. I know very little because it was all memorization, but
yeah.
that's my curiosity is one of the things I think also drives me in coaching is, where's the culture, and what do I learn, and what do we taste, feel, see, and how do we breathe it, and what does that create?
Well, and the very best coaches are genuinely curious about the client, right? And I think we can't make that up. We can't fake that. So I think that really does set a coach apart. So
Definitely, definitely. And that is like an insatiable curiosity
I
for
love
me.
it. It's wonderful. I couldn't be more grateful or delighted for you to be part of the team, and I appreciate you spending some time here today. And thanks so much for sharing a little bit about who you are.
Thanks for having me. Happy to play.